In all my years of counseling, there is one couple that left a particularly deep impression on me. The wife actually came to us for a session right when she had just started dating her husband. Since she was in China at the time, the counseling was conducted online. Our sessions typically last about an hour, usually between 45 minutes to an hour. So during that session, what she wanted to know was whether this person could be trusted. She asked, "Teacher, is he trustworthy?" I told her that people are actually very complex, and you can't simply judge someone as trustworthy or not. However, the person's numbers phenomena did reveal some information, whether it's in his career, interpersonal relationships, or marriage. He tends to be secretive, so when two people are communicating, we know that if someone deliberately hides certain things, it often creates a very unhealthy and negative dynamic in a marriage. What he tends to hide is his living environment and personal space. We can imagine that if two people are living together and one of them intentionally conceals aspects of their living space, then it could also be understood that there might be someone else involved. There might be another world or another environment that his wife doesn't know about. So at that time, I shared this with him. But as we know, especially when it comes to romantic relationships, people often can't see the true nature of things. And it's not just in love. Throughout our lives, there are many things whose essence we simply can't perceive. That's why we need numbers phenomena. So after reminding him about this, as is often the case with many of my clients, it was 3 or 4 years later that he contacted us again. So when she got back in touch with us, what she discovered was that her husband actually had another family, and he had been hiding this from her. She had always thought her husband was completely transparent with her in their daily life, because, for example, his phone didn't even have a password. She said that as long as she had his phone in her hand, she could unlock it without any problem. Isn't that transparent enough? Especially nowadays, we know that a lot of people have all sorts of passwords on their phones, and if their wives find out, they immediately change to a different password. After all, privacy is actually very important for everyone's inner life, especially in today's high-pressure, fast-paced society. So she said regarding her boyfriend at the time that he didn't have a password. So, Teacher Dai, how could you tell me that he was hiding something from me? How am I supposed to trust you? He didn't have a password on his phone, but then one time when he came home, she discovered that her husband had another phone in his car, and that phone also didn't have a password. So when she opened that phone, she found it was full of photos and messages documenting every detail of his life with another woman. All their interactions were on that phone. So to her, the phone he usually used seemed completely open and transparent, but he actually had another phone. Her husband's job was also rather special, requiring him to travel frequently, or at least that's what she thought. But in reality, he was maintaining another family. So this is often what we see with numbers phenomena. Honestly, sometimes it takes us 10 or 20 years to truly understand a person. But through numbers phenomena, you might be able to see things very clearly in just half an hour because the information revealed by numbers phenomena is completely aligned with the individual.
So just now when Teacher Dai mentioned this case, I think it's especially meaningful in life, whether it's in family, friendships, or career. We all might encounter situations where people don't live up to our expectations. So regarding the numbers aspect you mentioned, what exactly is it?
What is it? What kind of number is it? Right, so as we just mentioned in this case, let me explain a bit. In her husband's number, there is this sequence, 8107, 8107. Of course, here we're referring to the last digits of a mobile phone number. It could be a phone number, but if it appears in a license plate, the effect is different because, as we know, a car is a tool we drive. So its influence is more related to the process of transportation. Will he get distracted? What is his state when he's driving? What kind of roads does he choose to drive on? These all reflect the driver's condition. Yes, but a mobile phone number is with us at all times, so it represents a more comprehensive display of our information. Now, regarding 8107, we're not saying that just because you have 8107 in your number, you will definitely cheat or deceive in your marriage. It doesn't mean that at all. This is the complexity of number phenomena. If we add any digit before or after 8107, the overall mindset, emotions, and behaviors associated with it will be completely different. But today, out of respect for privacy, which is very important, we're only using this 4-digit number as an example. Now, with numbers like this, just as we mentioned earlier about scams, we can't draw conclusions based on a single number. Having a certain number doesn't mean you're a scammer, and having another number doesn't mean you'll definitely fall victim to a scam. Yes, it doesn't work that way, but certain numbers do set certain conditions or premises. The likelihood will be higher than for others. So, what is the issue with 8107? Through our years of research, the information that this number combination reveals is, first, in relationships, the person's desires are very abundant, extremely strong, and difficult to satisfy. So we know that in relationships, if the two of us are communicating and I have been dissatisfied with you for a long time but haven't said anything, usually people with this number combination won't express themselves directly through words. For example, saying, this thing wasn't done particularly well, maybe you could improve it. Problems that can be spoken out loud are usually not the real issues. The biggest problems are the ones hidden in their hearts. So people with this number combination, first of all, don't like to communicate. When something happens, they tend to rely on their own thoughts. Secondly, in relationships, their desires are very strong, very deep, and very far-reaching, so a single relationship often can't satisfy their curiosity. And the result they hope to achieve is just that. Thirdly, people with this kind of number combination have especially active thinking patterns, and they like things that are novel. If in a relationship they feel that life is very dull and they have to face the same routine every day, they simply can't stand it.